Hey guys, welcome back to another reaction. Ninetailedbrush here, and Demonslayer. So what happened? We had the whole sick freaking fight, right? Yeah, I feel like it was the main chunk of the fight that we had. We had Tengen versus the older brother demon, and then we had Tanjiro kind of trying to help out and not get in the way. We had Zenitsu and INOSKE versus the Daki, right? And that was sick. Like the cool thing about it is like they were like kind of like sharing vision, or he kind of like had his like, it looked like his eye was like on her forehead or something, and they were like, you know, both helping each other out as they were like 2v1ing, which was really cool. Yeah, we got a little bit more insight into Tengen, and sort of, you know, we had that whole thing of like, okay, he doesn't like that idea of like sacrificing yourself before the mission. But in that last episode, we had a lot of that, you know, we had a lot of that sort of like, you know, that willingness to die for a certain cause. And I think the master, I forgot what his name was, or if we even got the name, but Tengen said that he's willing to die for him, you know. And then we got one of his wives showing up at the end and helping out. And I think what we left off with was Tanjiro possibly going to cut off his head. I'm not sure if this is gonna work. I feel like this episode's gonna be about the like the resolution to the fight, or like the final part of it. So we'll see. It's so far it's looking all good, so I'm not really afraid of much, but we still gotta see. So yeah, we got the full length reaction up on Patreon. Next week's reaction up on Patreon, and if you just want to support us, go ahead. For copyright reasons, link in the description for my actual reaction, and then you can come back here to YouTube and, you know, see my discussion and whatnot. All right, let's get into it. Wow, I mean, what a freaking episode. I mean, we'll get to the end. I have no idea what is going on, but let me start from the beginning. It's cool that we're getting these little pieces of Tengen and his wives, right? I like it. It makes him more like human, right? And we also get, it's interesting because we get his, now I don't exactly know what happened, but we know that a lot of his family has perished, and his brother ended up being like hardcore shinobi, right? But we saw him visiting the grave, and it's cool that he still, even though he disagrees with like maybe the philosophy of it and whatnot, and maybe they did some, you know, some bad stuff that was required for whatever missions they undertook, he does respect, and he loves like his family. And it's cool that he doesn't, while he did leave, he doesn't just brush off, like he doesn't cut himself off entirely. He doesn't cut all the ties, which is cool. It's interesting. And it shows that he's still, while he may be like, you know, a hardcore, you know, Hashira, and he's a demon slayer and whatnot, he's kind of flashy, you know, he feels like the type of guy that kind of is just loose and does what he wants. It's cool to see that, like, that genuine sort of love and emotion that he has. And then we see it from his wives too. Obviously they're like, they really care about him, and like they would 100% die for him, right? And I like seeing their little group and how they kind of were before and are now, And Hina, I'm just gonna call her Hina for now. I kind of forgot what it was, but she kind of seems like the more mature one. And honestly, I was worried. I was a little worried there. I thought that she might actually end up dying, because we were getting in those flashbacks, we were getting a little bit more of her, and it was kind of focusing like on what she was kind of feeling in those flashbacks, and that line that she said where she wanted to, after killing an upper rank, she wanted to kind of like fall back from the front lines and kind of lead a normal life. I thought for sure it was like a flag for, she might not be with them when that happens. But luckily, Tanjiro was able to utilize a combination of his water breathing and Hinokami, and was able to kind of like create this like hybrid where it still had a little bit of power, so it was more powerful than the water breathing, but it got the speed and the flow of the water breathing. That was sick. And I like how they kind of explained that and was like, the other breathing techniques, while it started off as like, I forgot what it was, like the main elements, they kind of branched out because of, maybe the situations or the specific needs or the style and talents of certain demon slayers and sword users were able to kind of like create these like branches of different techniques. And so it makes me curious as to whether or not Tanjiro might not just have like a fire or a water, maybe like a new one that fits him more, because we've seen that he says that the water breathing technique isn't really suited for him, right? It doesn't match with him well. So maybe he will come up with something that will be a little more suited for his own needs. But yeah, it's luckily we had Tanjiro there to save Hina, right? That was really, really clutch, because I thought for sure we were gonna get a death there. But yeah, we had that, and then we had the whole. Once again, I just want to touch up on this, but Tengen had to save Tanjiro again. And I like that we see this, because one of the things is that we do see that like sometimes maybe the lower ranks won't be able to kind of like join in on the fight because of how high level the battle is. And if they do, they say, like, we're just going to get in the way. But it's interesting to see that, Tanjiro attempting to, and at times actually getting in the way. It's cool to actually see it happen, and it's unfortunate, he just doesn't have the skill at this moment to kind of, or the synchronization with Tengen to be able to kind of like assist efficiently without being a liability. And so we saw that Tengen had to save him from that one blood demon art or whatever. And then we got our freaking Inosuke Shine paired up with Zenitsu and freaking Tanjiro, right? That was sick. They laid the wombo combo on her, man. That was the theme song, like the little like remix theme song. Dude, when that started playing, that was so freaking hype, bro. I was freaking digging it. But that's cool. It's cool that we see a little bit of Inosuke because I really enjoy his character. He's very it's almost he's a baby kind of. He's very like childish because he hasn't probably interacted with humans as much as the others, and he kind of goes off of instinct, and at times he wants to help out but he doesn't exactly know what. And we even see him like, you know, getting all flustered or frustrated because he like can't mentally kind of like think of another strategy. That was kind of funny where you're just kind of like charged in. It's cool because we see his, you know, his personality there kind of like just controlling his fight. But I like that. I like that, you know, he's able to kind of like help out in his own way. You know, that whole like focus on the goal and give him a simple thing, simple task, and he will try to get it done. You know, that it's perfect for him, you know, and he's like, he's kind of clever at times, but he can't like overwork his brain. You know, he doesn't have the capacity yet to do that. So it's cool that like, you know, they were able to utilize that and turn it into his strength there, and he's able to go in and saw her head off. And then a little bit more of Zainsu. And while he is asleep, it's still Zenitsu, right? And to see him, what he really kind of like prioritizes and believes in, and what he, you know, what he could do, it's like the potential that he has, right? It's so awesome to see. I mean, just the way he takes command and he is able to utilize his powers efficiently. Like, the potential is there, but he's not able to do it like that because of his fear, which holds him back. So it's really awesome to see, but I do hope we get a little bit of some sort of like development, because it's like he still has that fear, and he probably would not be able to do this if he was actually awake. And that anxiety, that sort of fear, and all his thoughts clouded his judgment and his ability to utilize his skills. So, but still, to be able to see that, and it's really awesome. Him just flying around like with the lightning and stuff, it's sick. And then, dude, just the end. Like we got that little victory. But then, you know, we got the brother showing up, stabbing Inosuke in the back. It's just, I don't think our main trio will die, but I'm worried. Like, what could be the consequences? And I don't know. And Tengen is out. We know for sure one of his hands is like cut off at like the forearm, and he's basically almost out of the fight completely. He has the poison, and he's lost an arm. He's probably bleeding. He's exhausted, and we know he's not growing his arm back like like some sort of, because they make a point that like, you know, humans can't, and so he most likely is not getting that arm back. So I'm not sure what's gonna happen, because I mean, our only like real, because right now Inosuke's down, Tengen's out, Tanjiro's freaking on his last leg basically. Zenitsu is like the only one right now that is probably half okay. And I can't think of anyone, like the other wives, like, but they can't hold up to like these two for sure. So it's looking super grim right now. Unlike the other previous episodes, we're ending on a real bad note. I thought this was going to be the end episode, the end of the fight, but I guess not. I guess we got another one. This is sick. The fact that it's going on for this long and the fights are this intense is so sick. And the animation just beautiful, bro. The freaking animation is just so good. I'm really excited for the next episode. But yeah, if you want to support us on Patreon, we got like early access, full length, things like that, and you can vote for stuff. I think you can go ahead, check it out. It's fairly cheap, but if not, all good. If you want to like and subscribe, always helps us out. And yeah, I'll see you in the next Demon Slayer episode.